Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to do this. I don't know why, but it feels like I really want to do this. And I get those sparkling eyes and exciting eyes, and my heart is beating. It's just that a fresh start, like starts doing something that I never did before. And it always makes me excited and a bit curious, and it feels delicious. So what I'm gonna do today is look at my chart and talk to you about my chart, my human design chart. Over the years, you saw so many posts of mine and videos, and I shared during the last 6 years of my life through human design. But actually, maybe some of you doesn't know my chart, or actually maybe don't know really my story, part of my story. Of course, there are a lot of sides to the story. So today I felt like sharing with you my chart and talking about me and the projectors around you. I already feel naked because I know projectors are like kind of seeing more details and more layers. So feel free to indulge about my chart as you do. And yeah, let's start. I'm so happy to do this. I don't know why. So, okay, let's do this. Here is me, the chart, of course. My essence is broader than this. And I met human design 6 years ago. I kind of met a friend, and I saw a really radical change in his face, in its behavior. And this friend used to talk a lot, and he was very hard to take in. But after 2 years, I think we didn't meet. I met him again, and he looked different, and he was calm and relaxed, and he was joyful, and he was talking with like really nice expression. And I asked him like, "Hey, dude, what happened to you?" And he said, "Human design." I was like, "What? What do you mean human design?" And he said, "It's an experiment. There is a chart." And he said, like, "Would you be interested to see your chart?" And I was like, "Yes." I said yes, because I saw the change in him. And now I know that the sixth line for me is all about don't tell, do. It's not about what you say, it's more about how you really behave. And it's about me experiencing that in my body. So the fact that I saw the change, that led me to say, yes, sure, show me what you mean. I want to know that. So we sat on the grass in some hippie festival in Europe. I was dancing then, contact improvisation, and we sat on the grass and we opened my chart. And I was like, my God, oh my God, is this real? I felt like he was reading my mind, and kind of touching the essence of who I am. Um, yeah, just reminding that is really touching for me. Something awaked in that moment for me, something very, very precious that I felt like was asleep for many years. Um, yeah, I feel deeply touched. Just reminding that, yeah. Um, Suddenly, like I felt like a reborn child. I felt excited. I felt brave. I felt like I was coming back to be a 3 year old child. And wow, what a great feeling. And when he spoke about my undefined centers, I was like, how do you know what is going on in my head? Like, um, is it even possible that you're not such a good friend of mine and it's been 2 years we don't talk to each other, and you know those things about me which are very private, you know? So since then I entered human design, and I'm like in it, living it, hating it, loving it. And as I wrote in the last post, I think one of my posts is that I didn't choose it. This thing chose me. It feels like human design is going around the world and saying, okay, okay, who is next? Okay, you. And then it choose random people from all over the world and say, you gonna dedicate your life or a period of your life to it. And I felt like I was a puppet, and kind of the program chose me and said like, okay, you go girl. And okay, what to do, you know, if the program is choosing, so no matter what I would want to do or my mind will want to do or say or control, there is just the program. And I feel honored to deliver human design, and I feel blessed that um, that I get to meet so many people, and introduce to them this amazing tool, transformative tool. So what do we see here? An emotional ego manifestor. And to be a manifestor, it's been an amazing journey for me. I met, since the beginning of the experiment, so many manifestors. And I think the last 4 years, I mean, the beginning of my journey was focusing only about the manifestor type, understanding myself, understanding who are we, you know, who am I through this type. So being a manifestor is so bizarre. Being a manifestor is to be unpredictable to yourself and others. Being a manifestor is like to be, it's like working in a radio station that you have to radiate through words what is happening while it's happening. And being a manifestor is honoring and respecting the art of impact, which I love because we all impact each other. It's just that manifestors, as I perceive myself, is super aware, is like growing through that impact. And when I met human design, I felt like finally I had the permission, speaking about the manifestor type, finally I had the permission to be angry. I had the permission to say that I want to be alone, that I need my space, that I'm actually don't really understand what I do here and how do I connect with other people in a way that is constructive to me and to them. And yeah, I feel a bit sad saying it because it forced me to meet the deepest fears of mine. It forced me to meet the true behavior of what it means to be Mia, what it means to be Bar. And with that being said, meeting that sadness of like, who am I? How do I meet the world? I'm not a generator. I remember that I took from Ra's recordings as an exercise of writing about my open centers, which is an exercise that I recommend you guys all, to write about the undefined centers as an entity. And I wrote, I'm not here to be a splendid generator with a defined head and ajna and to bring inspiration mentally to other people. And I'm not here to be this loving, embracing, caring generator. And I remember myself writing it, and every sentence I was laughing and crying at the same time, because I was like, oh, I am not this. And I really wanted to be this. I really wanted to be that spontaneous generator who is taking care of the house and the meals and, but I'm not. So I, on one side, I really wanted to be that. But then I was laughing from the relief of, no, I'm an emotional manifester. And I was seeing this sadness from saying goodbye to that thing that I want to be. And this takes, of course, time, and I will talk about it. And then starting to meet the manifester within me, that I felt like, oh no, I don't have to say hello if I don't want to. I don't have to give a kiss if I don't want to. And I felt like a lot of like, no, I just want to say no, and I feel okay with that for the first time in my life. The fact that no, I don't want to meet people. No, I don't want to be nice. And I felt like I was given the permission to be angry, to be alone, and then also to start to feel my power. Oh my God, to feel my power. And I'm speaking not about a power of control and manipulation. I speak about a very, very core power, which is the power of being alive, the power of being a human, the power of what we call being authentic, which is connected to all kind of forces. And this is for me felt the manifest power, that is the power of being oneself. Just a moment. It's a bit cold and warm here. Yeah, so speaking about that power. So this was starting to build up that complexity. And then now, 6 years into the experiment, there is more peace, more and more peace entering into my life, into that being that I'm not. And there is more sides to this beautiful emotional manifester that I am. It's on one side having that depth and the craziness of being emotional being, and the storms of going up and down as an emotional being, but also that strength and solitude and the mountain feeling of being a manifester. Wow, I'm so touched to talk about it, talking about myself in front of you like this. Yeah, so emotional manifestor, waiting, owning waiting, my God, owning waiting. First it was waiting before I text somebody, waiting before I answer an email, waiting not as a curse, waiting in order to actually see what I feel. Because as you see in my chart, I have a completely open spleen, and all I wanted to do is answer from a place of fear. Like, receiving a message, an email, a phone call, an offer, and my body would react immediately, not from a place of, I know my frequency, I'm emotionally in tune with myself, rather from a place of fear of missing out, fear of being hurt, fear of whatever it is. So this is a journey that is so beautiful to see how it unfolds for me, because now I can make quick decisions, but it's not from the same place, because when I'm in my body and there is a quick interaction, I can see, okay, it's just, I know where my body is, I feel my body, I make a quick decision. Of course, there are still many, many things that does not work out, but it's less and less that spontaneous reaction from the undefined spleen, open spleen. And the funny moment is that I make a quick decision, very spontaneous, seems to be spontaneous. But then if I stop and reflect back, I notice that, wow, actually it's been a long while since I'm waiting to make that decision. So it's fast now. But if I reflect back, it's been 3 years I want to make that quick decision. So I give an example. When I came back to Israel 3 years ago, I wanted to buy a car, and it's been like 4 years when I lived in Europe that I wanted to have a car, and I had the money and I had the license, and I didn't buy a car. Like, I didn't understand why. I was living in the countryside in Europe, and I didn't understand why. Like, you have the money, you have the license, buy the car, it will save you time, it will save you energy, and you can travel around. I was living in Belgium back then. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And then I came back to Israel, 2 months inside Israel. I wanted to buy a car. I said, my father, I want to buy a car. He said, okay, no problem. The same day we check, the day after we go, I bought the car in the place, not thinking twice. So this is kind of the paradox and the beauty of knowing the frequency of the body, that in the moment it is fast, but looking back, like, yeah, of course it is fast. You're waiting for 3 years for that to happen. Another story about that. I wanted to get like counseling, consultation in business and marketing and stuff like this. And I know it for, I think, around 5 or 4 years. I know where the problem is. I know that I lack some of the tools. I know that it will be good to receive an external advice. But 2 days ago, suddenly it happened. Suddenly I was like, yeah, I want consultation. A friend recommended me. I said, okay. I ring, I call, the secretary, I pay, it's done. So you say for emotional manifestor, maybe you should sleep on it, but I slept on it for 4 years without even knowing. Yeah, my emotions are not conscious. I'm not aware of what is the frequency of my emotions that is happening in the background. Yeah, if you can see here the 22 and the 36 that are in my body, so I'm not aware of the crisis that is going on with them unless I'm opening my mouth, unless I'm meeting other people in my aura. I'm not aware of that emotional pain that I'm hearing, or emotional excitement that I hear with the 22, or if I'm open to interaction or not, because this is unaware. It's in my body. It's unconscious. I can only see that when someone is calling, and then I realize that I'm not so open to talk, or when I enter the aura of other people, and then I understand, oh my God, I'm in crisis. Yeah, so I have the 3536, the channel of transitoriness, and oh boy, this channel. I think I'm a bit embarrassed to talk about this channel. Yeah, I am embarrassed. Impatient. It's like the art of not waiting, because there is so much desire there to feel and to experience, and so much excitement. So why wait? and I'm emotional manifestor, and I'm gonna rock it, and I'm gonna get it. And if you see the undefined root center is even worth, like the undefined root center doesn't want to wait even a millisecond to nothing. So this channel is bringing me into emotional experience, and I'm completely there. I'm losing myself into it, and I'm tasting life, and it's so tasty and it's so painful. And then I come back home, and there is a crisis of, oh my God, I just had something completely new. And I feel like I'm reborning into whatever it is. And I go from the other side. And with the 35, I'm like, okay, how do I progress from here? Like, what have I learned from that crisis? What did I have learned from that experience? And then with the 56 is like, I want to share it with everybody. It's a way, in a way, something that is happening right now when I am kind of entered human design 6 years ago. And now I'm like sitting and recording, reflecting back and saying, wow, what a trip, you know, what a trip. I would never imagine I would sit here 6 years back and talk about a chart with numbers and colors. I was a dancer. I was teaching dance. I was sure I will live in Europe and marry a European guy and living in France or in Italy while my kids are, playing on the grass. Maybe it will still happen. I don't know. But now I'm here, and it's exactly what's supposed to happen. And I'm, as you see, I'm extremely happy doing it. So this is the 36, 35. It's long processes, long cycles, completely merged into the experience. It's not about analyzing it. It's really about living it. You know, for me to live as a manifestor, it felt like I'm completely it. There was no a space in my brain that has a doubt that I'm a manifestor. And I love this about me, that I'm not a doubting person. Maybe a bit naive even, but what to do. And the 35, 36 is also very sensual, sexual channel. So it leads me to all kind of experiences. And I discover a lot about life through that intimacy, through that sexual energy, not necessarily acting upon it, but learning from that. And I love the 35, 36 because it is exactly what is happening now. I am excited, deeply excited from doing something I never did before. Really, I feel like a child that I have a new toy. It's not that I never sat in front of the computer and recorded a video. I did it many times. I have online courses and I did sessions, but now it feels different because I never spoke about my chart. And you never heard me talking about my chart like that. And I'm exposed here, and I am vulnerable in a way, and I'm enjoying myself, listening to what I'm saying. And this is the 35, 36. It's the joy of life. It's the pain of life, you know, because you don't know what will happen when you enter a new experiment, a new emotional bondage with life. Sorry for that. So, yeah, I think this is also part of my beauty with the 35, 36, that collective energy, that my pain is your pain, my love is your love. It's like having the capacity to see life not as only that I exist, is like seeing my process as the process of humanity, and like having the sensation that I'm in a way touching the pain of everybody and touching the love and pleasure of everybody. And this is the beauty of being a collective being, is that, like, in a way, I know that what I feel, or I have the capacity to connect to every human on earth just because I'm a human, and it is special, but it's not special. My pain is special because I'm living it through this unique body, but it's not special. So this either create a separation, like, oh no, I'm not special. Either it can create a bond of saying, like, wow, I can be understood, and I can understand others. And this is extremely beautiful, my perspective. And then I have the 2145, the money line, the materialistic energy of the tribe. Yeah. Well, still figuring this out, and I will always figure out what it is, of course, as the other part of the chart. It's an ongoing revealing process. 2145, I think I realized that at its best when I started to teach dance, and then started to teach human design. It's that amazing feeling in the chest, supporting others, and I have tears in my eyes. It means that I'm touching the core. Amazing feeling in the body of, like, I'm providing you education tools and I'm supporting you, and you in my presence are making me a teacher, so I feel supported by you. And that great feeling of abundance, great feeling of we are here for each other, and, like, I am ruling, it's a rulership channel only because you allow me, because you recognize me, because you are supporting my back. And I became a different person since start teaching. I started teaching dance before I met human design, and holding that space, coming to the studio before, cleaning the floor for my students, putting the heating, putting music to create to create nice atmosphere, dancing a bit, welcoming the people into the class, going through the class, seeing the students learning, trying, succeeding, sitting in the end in this closing cycle. Yeah, so as I was saying, for a moment there was a problem with the recording, so I'm not sure what happened. I hope it's all okay. Yeah, and sitting in the end of the class and hearing the sharing and receiving questions and feedbacking, and like I was like, wow, I received so much, because I also discovered my own teaching through the people that come to the class, and then sensing the loyalty of people coming to the class 3 years in a row, and then part of them became teachers, which was always also very touching. Like, wow. I could touch the humility of leadership. I could touch the big hug of creating something together as a little tribe. And this is for me the 2145. And also with the 21 in the second line, might is right, is knowing also how to put boundaries and how sometimes to be a bit strict if needed in order to protect the tribe. For example, telling to people that are too late for the class that they cannot come in because we are creating something together, and I want to protect the atmosphere and to make sure that the process is held properly. So I love 2145. It's challenging, it's tricky, it can be controlling and manipulative, and it's not self behavior. And I saw it in my life. Um, but I feel like I'm getting closer into that tuning of that frequency that I really appreciate. And also questions about money, what money really is, and what is abundance, and what is the material plane. And together with the 1020, which is the channel of awakening, it creates a beautiful bond between spirituality, the spirit, and the matter. So yeah, that there is so much to learn about money and how money is here to serve and support and resources, and how to hold the energy of people, and knowing what a proper education is. And I did a recording with Adrienne. She's an ego manifestor, and we spoke about that. Wow, I talk about it, and my heart is just expanding, you know. And normally when we talk about money these days, or before I made human design, it was like, oh, you know, not to talk about and not to deal with that. It's kind of this money issue thing. But now I cannot imagine that creates sparkling in my eyes, you know, that topic. And I know there is much more to learn. I'm looking forward to it. And then I have the 1020 channel of awakening, part of the integration system. Oh my God, it's just that stillness. It's just that in the moment behavior that expresses self-love. As I feel now, I do something that I enjoy doing, and I'm busy with the way I talk and with the way my body is, and it's just that stillness, that emptiness, that sharpness. It's being one with nature, and it's all about behavior. And I love it because it's not about talking is spirituality, and it's not about teaching is spirituality. It's about being, the way I make my tea, and the way I move my body, and the way I take my shower, and the way I talk. It's really that. It's that simple behavior in the now that expresses awakening or not. It's that simple reaction in the now that um, that is, I don't even have the words, because it's just either is that there or not. Either is this complete expression of presence or not, the absence of it. And learning to be okay with that movement of awakening or not. Yeah. Got a bit tired. Yeah, and then you see all the undefined centers and the open centers. My God, very flooded undefined root center. So pressure, pressure, pressure. So nice to slowly let go of that pressure and dropping into the body, and learning that I can move from a different place, which is not pressure, which is desire, which is passion, which is patience. Undefined sacral, not knowing when enough is enough. So it's like learning the sacral world, learning the generators world, and feeling when enough is enough is such a great, satisfying feeling. It's like I eat, it's enough, I let it go. I do something, it's enough, I let it go. I meet with somebody, it's enough, I let it go. You don't know how special it is for an undefined sacral to know when enough is enough. It's like it's a Christmas present. It's a it's birthday present. It's you know, winning the lottery. because it's so precious to have energy, and then to know how to move to the next thing, like a generator is doing naturally. So I remember those little moments of, oh my God, I managed to know when enough is enough, to stop. And of course the mind comes and say, yeah, but you can do a bit more, and the body says no, and I respect that. Unbelievable. It's just like, this is, this is happiness. Human design is actually showed me what happiness is for me, is those little changes in behaviors, is waiting for that emotion clarity, even if it's 5 minutes. It's supporting people in the right way, behaving for self-love, and then knowing when enough is enough, making to-do lists of 2 things and feeling completely okay with that. And then going to the splenic center and feeling all this fear in my body and not acting upon it. Feeling all that anxiety, and knowing that it's all just a story, that I'm not the survival brain that is operating right now. This is joy. This is pure joy. This is pure love. It's the ability to see that little progress, and it's not about what I can cry. It's like, it's not about what other people see. It's maybe for other people it doesn't really matter, but it's seeing my own progress. It's seeing my own evolution. It's really like seeing a child that is growing. It's see the hairs that are growing a bit, and like a centimeter up, and a little change in the voice. It's exactly what it is. It's small, progressive, consistent evolution. It's not a bomb. It's not like an ayahuasca ceremony. It's small, it's progressive, it's constant, it's transformative in pieces. And if you follow me, I have videos like from the first year in the experiment, and I remember me talking then to the camera, and the shock and the stress, and how I was measuring words. And now I'm sitting here, and I don't care about the outcome of this. I'm here in my body talking to you. I'm not thinking for a moment what I'm going to say. And this is such a marvelous place to experience that I don't have to plan. I don't have to know what I'm going to say. Because when there is frequency, when there is body, then everything is fine, So yeah, I now realize that. I now realize people ask me about goals and targets and your destination, and your life purpose. I'm like, this is my life purpose, when I know when enough is enough, it feels like my life purpose. Yeah. How can you explain to someone that is not in that process that this is life purpose? It is like an inch to self-love. It's an inch to be in this body, to respect that body. This is life purpose. And then I have the undefined head and ajna, of course, and it's so nice to embrace the blend of things that can happen in my brain, and not stay with stupid questions. And every time a question comes up to my mind is like, when will I have babies? Or where do I live? Or I'm like, I don't know, and I don't care. And of course there is mental oppression there because of the 47 but not running around with the question, you know, and trying to solve it mentally, or at least seeing that mechanism and saying, this is not me to answer. This is not my way. This is not the way I function. Or to feel other people with mental oppression trying to stick questions into my head, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know, and I don't care. If it makes you busy, okay. If it make you feel pleasant, good. I don't care. Or better saying, it creates anxiety for me, you know. Let's focus on what I do know, you know, right now. Yeah, so I covered up like the manifesto, and of course there is so much to say and so many layers into it. And then I covered like the defined centers and the channels and the undefined centers. And then we get to my profile, to the 6-2 profile, and it's I love that profile. I get tears in my eyes every time something is touching my heart. Um, especially now when I'm going on the roof, it's like looking back at those 30 years and saying, wow, what a mess. And then meeting up human design towards going up to the roof, and the ability to start to cultivate empathy and compassion and perspective. Yeah. So this is in the personality that was so busy with finding profession and succeeding on the material plane and experimenting stuff and trying, and then trying to create relationship, not succeeding, bonding. This was the personality. This was the story of the personality. And then slowly but surely, as I say, progressive, consistent change starts to be like the 6 line theme. It's like integrity, how much I am close to myself and keep up my words and my action. And um, what really matters, the 6 line for me is my personal evolution. It's not about money. It's not about um, the material plane. It's not about um, trying to break things and to see what happens, or to bang my head into the wall to see what happens. It's more about the simplicity of daily life, um, reminding myself that is only my perspective on life, that is only my journey, um, and asking myself, what do I experience now? What do I experience now? Um, what is relevant now? Sometimes like going up and satelliting and seeing the whole pictures of planets and people and events, but then again coming back and saying, what is your journey? What is your trajectory right now? And going to the 2nd line in the body, which is intimate and shy and very bold. And I feel that this is like classic 2nd line for me. To expose myself like this to you, it's something. It is something. Sorry for that. It is something because this is the way I talk to people when I meet them in sessions. um, I meet people in sessions, and of course they pay, they book, I see their chart, I know their questions, and then I feel like they're in my bubble. But here I am willingly sharing my personal life with you, my journey, my stories, Um, and this is for me the second line. That's like from shyness, from having those posts. Sometimes you see me in lives with a photo there, but actually sitting with you 1 hour and talking like this, no filters, in my living room, in my bedroom. Um, Seeing that I have, like, I have to take things out of my nose once in a while. This is the vulnerability of a second line. It's like, who do I allow to get in, and when, and what will come out of me when I allow that? But I feel that in the last 6 years, I was so exposed there in the media, and people who followed me and contact me and messaging me, or just, posting likes and stuff. And I feel like we're already kind of in a relationship, long distance relationship though. And some of you I know. And this is the boldness. This is saying, okay, hi, I'm going out from my cave, and I'm a bit shy, I'm a bit excited and afraid, and I don't know what will come out of me, but I'm here. Because when a second line decides to bond, it's beautiful and talented, and it's intimate, and it's sensitive and fragile, and everything I would wish in a relationship, intimate relationship, any relationship. Yeah, so 6-2 together, it's like a narrow, it's like a narrow corridor, and then, like, adding things to that corridor, adding furnitures and decoration to make that corridor beautiful to walk in, and sometimes to open a door and to take something and to take a little trip and then come back to that narrowness of the 6-2 profile. And then ending with my cross of separation, left angle cross of separation. Well, of course, I don't know much about the cross in the sense of experience, because we know that that cross is something that you fully embody around the age of 50, 55. I'm not there yet. There is way long to go. But what I see in my process is that separation is made for integration. If it stays in separation, it feels very isolated. So if I, for example, isolated all the elements in human design body graph, it feels like, okay, we separated, and then, but if I separate in order to see the holistic story of the body graph, it makes sense. It's a different feeling in the chest. So I like to separate concepts, or to separate ideas, or even to separate myself sometimes for others, in order to feel the whole. This is something that I personally learned to do, is to separate and then create the bridges, and understanding what is a personal story that connects to everybody, and what is everybody that connects to the personal story. And I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know how it will unfold. I don't know what it actually means. But I just walk with that word separation. And this is the way I like to treat crosses, is knowing that you have the seed within yourself and allowing life to make it a tree. So I walk with that word separation, and I wonder about that. And I hear the feedback of other people telling me, you're separating, and then saying, yes, I do, but why do I do that? And what do I gain from it? And what is a healthy separation? And what is unhealthy separation? What is the difference between neglection and separation? And all of that is not in the realm of the mind, is in the realm of physical experience. How can be far but still close? How can be separated but still integrated? It's like the different body parts in our body is that you cannot really separate them. You can say, okay, now I'm moving my arm, you know. It's true, but what is your arm? You know, your arm is connected to your back, and your back is connected to your belly, and the brain is connected to the fingers. So there is always a level of separation there, and there is always a level of integration. And I guess those are the questions that are keeping me busy. How do I feel myself as an individual, yet living happily in the humankind? And this connects for me to the profile as well as a 6-2, like being a second line hermit at home, but at the same time being a 6th line and being transpersonal and connected to everybody as I'm creating that video right now. So yeah, cross of separation, guys. Let's see. I have like 25 years from now to actually seeing it unfold. But I know that is something that I do quite well, to separate elements. And then if I take a breath and I look at it, I'll allow the pieces to come together and to form something else. It's a bit of a closure to that beautiful human design body graph, that you have all those elements, but then everything together is something else, something that is unexplainable. And this is the magic. The magic is to understand the components and the elements, but then taking a step back, and it started to move and shape itself and telling you the story as you go. Incredibly beautiful, incredibly beautiful. And every time I meet people in sessions, there are many things I know, but moment after I know comes the things that I don't know. The human design's body graphs start to speak. It's a living thing. It's a mystery revealing itself. And this is what I love about this knowledge, that it's not something solid. It's alive. It's like, you know, when you have a partner or a friend or family member, you think you know them, and then you see another side of them, and then another side of them, and then the story is more complex and more round and more profound and more precise, and it's not ending. And this is for me the beauty of looking at a body graph, is looking at that evolution in play, looking at the components, looking at the complexity, and seeing how all of them are dancing and moving together. Yeah, it's a body, it's moving, it's not fixed. So this is me. Of course, there's so many elements and the planets and stuff, but like, I know this is a projector work, so projectors, do your job, enjoy what you see. I just feel so honored and pleased to sit here and to share about my little journey through that, and knowing that there is so much to learn, and I will learn so much, and appreciating what I've been learned so far. Thank you to human design, to the knowledge, for me being so devoted and inside it, learning to be alive and happy, and learning to be alive and sad, and all the emotions that contain the human experience. So this is what I do in human design sessions. I go over the details and I explain, and I'm searching to have my eyes glimpse. I search to fall in love with the body graph that I see. So if you're called to receive this kind of present from me, you're welcome to reach out. Because this is what I love. I love to see that moving thing and to be moved. And if you also like to be moved and to celebrate your complexity, to celebrate your dance, to celebrate your pain, yes, celebrating your pain. I'm here for that. I'm here to embrace all your parts in you and to empower all of you and all the conflicts and all the paradox, and to say this is just life. Let's embrace it. Let's hug it. Let's watch the movie and be in the movie. And this is what I try to provide when I give human design sessions and initiation sessions. It's the celebration of all the elements, the laugh and the cry and the excitement of being alive. Yeah, being alive. It's a hell of a ride. Yeah, and it's only once in this body, so we have human design, and it's already incredibly amazing. So why not to use it? Why not to use it? Yeah, thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope it will give you insights and, I don't know, things to ponder about yourself. Know that I'm here for you if you need. I know it's not easy sometimes, and it seems like a mess, or sometimes it's just super happy and you want to share your happiness. It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to stay consistent and in the frame. And if it shows you, if human design shows you, then it's bigger than you. Then you have no choice. Sorry, no choice. You can try to sneak around. It's gonna catch you. It's gonna do like, come here, little creature. Sit here. Yeah. Thank you. I love you guys.